Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Etheria restart video. So, in today's video, guys, we've got summons, right? It's day one of global launch. What else are you going to do? But in all seriousness, I'm hoping to make it a little more educational other than just summoning, because I'd like to walk people through how to build their account based on the type of summons that they get. So, I just wanted to give you a quick walkthrough of where I'm at. So, I'm just at account level 10. I've had a couple things unlock, like Union, some of the challenges. We just had Anti-Sync Echoes unlock, which is kind of like the one-time reward stuff. There's a lot of good things in here with bosses, but we have the shells dropping, we have the threshold dungeons, and we have investigation. We have not unlocked GP Outpost yet. We have to do some of the main quests here first. But I wanted to get to the summons. How far we've gotten is up to normal 3 on Terramaton, and all we've pulled so far from our first 10 pop was Marvel. Now, this would have been a great pull, in the betas. However, I think the verdict is still out on Marvel since they rebalanced him prior to launch. So I've just been using these core 5 heroes right here for the module dungeons, and whenever it comes to shell dungeons, because you only use 4 characters in there, I've just been using these top 4. But now we get to summon and see what else we can add to our collection. So some of my Union members have already summoned. They've gotten some crazy pulls, but we'll see if our luck is any better. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull the stuff that the game has given me so far, without any spending, and then I was one of the beta spenders, so I did get some vouchers, so we're going to use some of those vouchers as well and pull some more, but we'll walk through, how we're going to be building our account based on the summons that we get. So as soon as, right out the bat, we get a SSR, which is awesome. When you see gold pop up there, that means you got an SSR. So let's see who we're starting out with here. So I had mentioned number 41 in my prior video as a really good rare to kind of build. Oboro. And then, Silence. So I'm actually not a huge fan of Silence. I thought she could have used some kind of rebalancing from the betas, but anyway, it's a hollow SSR character. In my opinion, that doesn't do much for our account, but it was kind of nice that we got it in the first 10 pop. Okay, so purple is just an SR. So we'll see which SR we get here. I mean, we're on the lookout for a couple different things. Yang's okay. He's an okay SR. I think he's a little bit better later on, in the game, whenever you can mix and match, some of your teams. But yeah, we're looking for, we're looking for Dino, we're looking for Kraken, we're looking for Sonya, and we're kind of just looking for any type of healer. So we'll just skip through these because we know it's not an SSR. Okay. So here we got Dorothy. She's one of your starter heroes. However, I'm not a huge fan of Dorothy overall, but in general, she's kind of nice. Okay, this is a really good pull. So Dinah is a great pull. She's one of the top tier damage amplification characters, which is really awesome. One of the heroes that I was certainly hoping to pull. And then here we got another SR. Okay. So Kazami is interesting. She's a little more niche. She reduces cooldowns and things like that. She can be used in some speed teams. But, okay. So what was that? That was 50 pulls, which wasn't bad. If you are starting out on day 1, I highly recommend that you do not use these Hydra Crystals. You want to use these for daily refreshes and just summon heroes whenever you get the opportunity with these tickets. Do not waste your Hydra Crystals. Not yet. You don't need to do that yet on summons. Okay, so because we were a spender, what we're going to do is we're going to go into the shop here and we're going to use our vouchers. So from the value selection, This is something that we actually didn't see in the final beta, was this LD kind of stuff. To be honest, I'm not like super interested in this. But what we are going to do, we're going to get, 10 summons here and a stabilizer for $1. We're also going to get 10 more summons for $1. We're also going to do this SR for $5 because it gets 10 summons. I actually think I'm going to clear this whole thing out, other than maybe the SSR. But here, this pack gives you a perfect lattice. I'm sure you've seen this in tons of other content creator videos. I myself have mentioned this. The lattices are actually the most important part, the most important item in this game. This is the one that you really, really want to spare. You really want to make sure that you're using this wisely. These are to skill up your characters. So very, very important. And then these items are to level up your character from 5-star to 6-star. I have all of this in my beginner's guide. If you guys want to go check that out, there's tons of other beginner guides out there as well. Okay, so get back into the summons. In regards to the banners, because I'm a spender, this doesn't really matter to me. But there's been a bunch of videos out there as well talking about which banners to pull on and such. The only one that I would tell you is guaranteeing kind of the consensus is you want to do exactly what I'm doing here. You want to summon a couple characters first and see what your account needs. And after that, you can then go into this targeted summon and just fill out the rest of your roster. Because there are some really high quality picks in here. Hellkid being one of them, Tiamat being another. Veronica got a nice rebalance. Romoka, fantastic for farming Doki Doki, which is one of the better dungeons to farm. Kloss, which is a great just overall support unit. Speed down, defense down AoE with a really cool unique debuff. But what I'm doing is I'm just summoning on these permanent banners, see what kind of SSRs I get to then build my account around and then go after the targeted summon. So RC77, this is a really good SR. He does like turn meter reduction. He also has AoE speed down, which is certainly, it's not unique, but it's hard to come by. And he's the fastest SR character, actually. So Kazuyo the Reverie, this is another great SR pool. She's probably the best SR for Doki Doki. She sleeps people. And for those of you who don't know, crowd control in Doki Doki is really important. And you can actually skill her up to a 3-turn cooldown on her sleep. So, pretty cool. Wow. Okay, and we got a Fangus. So, 3 SRs. That's all awesome pulls. So, we've got the Dyna. We've got Fangus. Who else did we just pull there? Oh, yeah, RC77. So, this should be close to, our legendary pull. All right, so let's see the SSR we got. We're fine with anything. We just don't want another dupe of Slince. Knowing my luck, I'll probably get a dupe. But either way, let's see. No way. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Okay, so we got an SSR Dark Unit, Lily. Like tons of people are re-rolling for this character. I can't believe I just pulled this character. Oh my gosh. This is like a cheat code in this game. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Okay. Oh, that's awesome. Okay. So, sorry, we're going to keep pulling. We're just doing tons of pulls here today. And then I'll talk about some team composition. Victor, so he got a rebalance. Verdict's still out on whether or not he is still as good or if usable or if he's been outclassed by another SR. But, oh my gosh, I can't believe I pulled a Lily. Okay, so another Dorothy and another Kazuyo. Is that her name, Kazuyo? I forget. She's the skill reduced cooldown character. All right, number 41, Valerian. This is another character that a lot of people are high on. She has like this really cool like shield kind of mechanic. However, she can't act, but she gives shields to her like allies. She also does like heal over time and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. All right, we got a couple more summons here. Another SR. Kachi the Guard. This is a hero that I kind of slept on. It's one of the few heroes that can give immunity from an SR standpoint. Actually, it might be the only one. Okay, so the last thing that we're going to pull on here is these 2 tickets that are either a SR or a SSR. Okay, so we got an SR, Oboro, so it's a copy. That's not bad. A lot of people are low on that character, but I think she's got some potential. And then Rin. So Rin is actually a really good support character as well. Okay, great. So this is a good time to kind of stop, I think, to show you, what we're looking at. So when it comes to our animuses, if you ignore Lily, because Lily's pretty busted, most people aren't going to be able to pull her. Silence. So if we look at Silence has attack down, AoE, and something called Forgetfulness, where they can't trigger passive effects. Now, this is something that could eventually get better. But right now, it's a little bit weak because passive effects are kind of rare. Passive effects are whenever a character actually shows passive here on their skill. I say this because there are some characters, like if you look at Leon, the free SSR character, she has this ability called 9-Volt Flame, which is a type of passive because it's on her skill 1 that never goes on cooldown. So this is never on cooldown. This is just like a static kind of ability where she gets a buff in her damage for each buff that she has. Now, Silence's S3, won't do anything with that. It will only counter things that have this passive. Now, Silence does have a really good ability in her Aqua Shield here. And it basically absorbs damage, reflects damage, all of those things. This is what she's known for because the other stuff in her kit isn't that great. So I'm not going to really use her. However, I did pull some pretty good SR characters. So RC77, like I said, he has some of the fastest base speed in the game. He's tied with Kloss for the fastest base speed. However, when it comes to prowess, where you get the speed buffs here, SSR characters actually get more speed increase than SR characters. So in the end, if everyone is leveled up, Kloss will outspeed him. There's a couple of characters that are going to outspeed him. So Yang is similar to your free character Gray, except he doesn't get an extra turn, and he's in kind of like the blue element here. But he does have turn meter push for your allies, which is really cool. And he has an attack up and crit rate up, where Gray only gives you the attack up. So we have some different options here when it comes to team building. We pulled Rin, which is a good support character with attack down and taunt, and then also defense up and shield. This is like the ultimate kind of just buffer support character. So when you're looking at the individual dungeons, and then we'll end this video, in your shell dungeons, you can use 4 characters, okay? And you want to base your team around the element that you are going up against. So when it comes to these elements, I need to go into the actual dungeon to show this. You can see here the affinity restraint. So if this character is a fire character or reason, you want to bring in some blue characters. Now, this dungeon isn't worth farming, but when it comes to team composition, you want a damage dealer, you want a healer, you want a debuffer, or buffer. It doesn't necessarily need to be debuffs. And then either like a flex spot. You can have a turn meter booster, a turn meter reducer when it comes to the enemy, or, defense up, shields, the things that I kind of just mentioned with Rin. There's some really great options in the SSR area. I've already mentioned them like Hellkid and Tiamat. So in this area, like, because Jacques is a fire unit, that means that our gray is pretty weak here. So since we pulled Yang, we can actually slot Yang in there to give the crit rate up and attack up and make this a much smoother run. Everyone else is either, a neutral affinity, whether it comes to Leon, or our LD characters, which don't have any weakness. If you look, it says here that the disadvantage of, the negative element, they lose crit rate, they lose effect accuracy, and they take more damage. And then if you're a positive affinity, you get 15% increased crit rate, and your damage is increased by 15%. So not only does Yang take less damage, but he's going to be dealing more damage, and he's easier to build when it comes to crit rate. So that's what you're looking at whenever it comes to, the shell dungeons. And you just apply this same kind of mentality around the different shells. So here's a blue boss. So you're going to want to bring in green characters. Same kind of mindset. You're going to have your damage dealer, your support, whether it's a debuffer or a buffer. You're going to have a healer, and then you're going to have that flex spot. And then the same thing in Terramaton. Terramaton dungeon here, because it's a hollow, you're going to want mostly fire. You're going to want the fire damage dealer, fire healer, fire support, like Rin, who we just showcased. And you get the gist. This is day one. You guys are probably figuring some stuff out if you didn't play the beta. And yeah, that's basically it. I just wanted to showcase some of my summons, show you some of the characters, and what my mindset would be if I didn't pull a hero like Lily or something like that, and how I would go around trying to figure out which characters are best to build for each individual spot. So that's all I have for you right now, guys. Expect a ton of videos on this game. Love this game. And yeah, that's all I got. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you on the next one. See ya.